Hello and welcome to Paper Plays Julie K.
Welcome back, everyone, and I am continuing to work on my journal that I am making. It's kind of a, I don't know, vintage grunge with a little bit of lace in it, kind of a mismatch of different supplies in my stash. There isn't one particular company or brand that I'm working with, but I'm continuing to work on it at start to finish. And when I left off earlier, which was actually earlier today, we had glued down these paper pieces, and I was going to kind of finish up some stuff on this page tuck or page top or tuck. And I just wanted to show you where I left off and what I added after I left. So what I ended up doing on this one is I ended up adding one of those little ruler scraps pieces I had left over, mainly because this little paper clip, when it was just on here, it was kind of blah right there. And so I thought that would make it look nice. And so I found a black scrap that matched. And then I also went ahead and added a little flower right there. So now that has a little bit more interest, I think. And then the back side we were still kind of working on, and I was going to look for something to put along with this sentiment. I do believe I ended up getting all this put together before I ran out of the battery. And so I wanted to find, since this quote kind of had to adopt the pace of nature, her secret is patience, I wanted to find something nature related. And so I did find this little butterfly in my stash. It's a Tim Holtz one. And then I also found this little remnant of a flower piece that I kept. So I was thinking I could put the flower piece up here in the corner and the butterfly right down here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. And then I pulled out a couple more things, and we'll just kind of see how far I get. Like I said, I had filmed earlier today working on this journal. I probably won't post this one till the next day. I'm just going to try to film ahead since I have a little bit of extra time to craft, just in case I have a day or something where I'm not able to film. I might as well work ahead, I guess. I think that's how I was going to lay that one down. So go ahead and glue that one down. Like I said, I pulled out a couple more things to work on, so we'll just, like I said, see how far we get. Yeah, like that right there. If I have to, I'll come back with Fabri-Tac up here on this flower if that's not, that might not stay. See what else I have here. I'll try a little Fabri-Tac. You know, most of the time tacky glue kind of works for gluing on laces and trims, but once in a while it doesn't. I just noticed on my Fabri-Tac bottle that it has a little crack there, so that's not good. I think I have another bottle that's almost empty. I might have to change the lids around. I've had that happen before, and then you squeeze too tight and then the whole thing like gushes out with glue, so it's not good. I'll have to remember to change that out, because I have this one here that has hardly anything in it, so we'll have to change those two around, I guess. Alright, so eventually we'll find something to put under there in that tuck spot. So I had a couple other things that I wanted to do, and there's a page that goes right here. Okay, this one I have an idea for, and I had something for this, and also the back side of this gray one. So this one right here, I was thinking, let's make a little cluster that I can glue down here, and then we can make it into a tuck spot. So like I said, for anybody just joining in, or not like I said, but what I've said before is I kind of move around in my journal, and this one's a start to finish that I'm doing on camera. I will have, of course, the playlist available if you are interested in watching it from the start to finish. And I jump around. The cover is already done, other than a few extra little things that we need to do. But I'll do that at the end once I sew the signature in. So I was thinking, first of all, I need to ink the edges. So I had another scrap of this exact same paper as this gray one right here. So I'm thinking that I just need to ink the edges, and I tore a little bit of it off just so it would fit right here. So I thought that would be a good spot for the tuck, and then I could layer on some laces. And so I was playing with, you know, some of the lace that I used on the cover, some of the scraps that I cut off. I was thinking I could glue that one down. You know, this one, it says, "See the beauty in all things," and it's just a punch out from some paper kit. I'm not quite sure where I got it from. And then I was thinking I could maybe add some eyelash trim, and I thought I had some white sitting on my desk somewhere. Don't you hate that when you know it's sitting on your desk and you can't see it anywhere? I don't know that I can pan the camera so you guys can see how messy my desk is right now, but it's very, very messy. And I know that I pulled out, oh, here it is, pulled out some eyelash trim, and I like to use this on a lot of things. It just adds a little bit of extra interest, I think. So I was thinking, you know, you could put a little bit of that behind there, and maybe add this little remnant also. That came from that lace pocket that we made. So that was kind of my plan here. Then I also have my hot glue guns. Plug that in because I think there's a paper clip I want to make, so 2 for this if we get time. So I'll ink the edges on this one also. Yeah, I don't know if I have, you know, too much more to share with you guys. You know, like I said, I filmed earlier today, and then I went and ate lunch, which was just leftover soup. Nothing too exciting. And my husband ran to town. I'm not sure. I don't think he's back yet or not. I think he was maybe going to pop in when he came back in, but I'm not 100% sure. Because I don't see him out on the ice fishing. I looked a little bit ago, and so I didn't see him. I just popped back up after I ate lunch. I popped back up into my craft room, and I cleaned up a couple of things. I was tea dyeing some paper, and I had just put a big like plastic tablecloth all over part of my floor, and I just had laid a whole bunch of papers that I was tea dyeing, and they had finally dried, so I was kind of cleaning up that mess when I came back up and let the heat run a little bit up here in the craft room. I just, when I'm filming, I try not to let the heat run because I'm not quite sure how loud it sounds on camera. So I'm always trying to be careful about that so that you guys don't have to hear the furnace kicking in and off, in and out. So I like that. So let's see here. Because I can have a little bit of that hanging around. I'm trying to decide if I want to do any sewing on this before I stick it in. And I thought of putting that down at the bottom, but maybe I'll just layer it under here. Then I still have room to add another trim or something, or one more little piece if I wanted to. I have these cute little flowers. I could put one of the flowers there. I don't try to zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. So I kind of like that. I kind of want to, though, run the sewing machine across the bottom of this whole thing. So I'll glue it, but I won't glue it into the journal page, because I'll maybe just run the whole thing through the sewing machine. So I'll just put a little bit of glue in the middle to hold everything. So yeah, I think I like that. That's kind of cute. You know, fun little cluster, easy cluster. Clusters are always easy to make to add a little extra interest in your journals, I think. And so I'll stick that in there, and then I'm just trying to decide if I do want to do the sewing, or if I just want to put it in. No, I think I do want to sew, and I think I actually just want to sew around the little sentiment. Sorry about that, I was off camera. Tough when you zoom in, it's easy to get out of camera. So yeah, I think I want to sew around that, and then once I've sewed around it, I'll add that into it. So again, I'll do that at the end, after I sign off, because it's too tough for me to take my camera down and go put it over on my table where my sewing machine is and come back. It just, I have I don't film on my phone like a lot of people do. I actually have a camera, and it's hooked up to a tripod hanging upside down over my desk, and it's kind of a pain to do that. So that's what we're going to do on that page, and we'll still come up with something for there. Let's see. So I was going to go back and do something, I think. So we did that. I was thinking somewhere on here I was going to make, it doesn't really matter which side. I was going to make a paper clip. And I already have a paper clip there, so maybe I need to add one over here. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to do it sideways maybe, instead of at the top. And I had a couple pieces kind of laid out for that. Maybe we should do it on this page right here. Alright, so I apologize, guys. It's like I want you to see what I'm doing, but then I get out of frame, so I'll just zoom out and then stay out and just hold up the pieces that I'm working on. So I picked out this material. Again, I used this on the cover, and it was just scrap material, so I thought I would try to use some of that in here. And then I had some tea-dyed paper that I folded, and I found this applique, and then also just a little lace remnant piece that probably came off of a curtain, it looks like. So if I want it to go this way in the journal, and I was going to do the whole hidden paper clip method. So if you're new to that, you can either use a piece of paper or a material. You fold it and you put your paper clip over it. And then you should be able to then hook it up in between the two pieces of papers. And then you'll cover the metal pieces of the paper clip so you won't see it. So that's kind of the basis of the hidden paper clip. And so, like I said, I just grabbed one of the tea-dyed papers that was sitting on my desk to play with as kind of my piece that we won't see in the end. You could use scrapbooking paper or a digital. So I'm thinking You know, maybe I should put down some of this lace first, and then I can put this down. Because I was thinking of doing it this way. That's why I'm trying to see if I can revamp it to do it from the side. And just hang this like this. And I think that'll work. But I don't think I need this piece of lace, so we'll get rid of that one. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do then is I have my hot glue gun here, and I think it's ready. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue around the paper clip, and I'm going to glue down my material. You know, ideally I probably would have liked a slightly bigger piece of material, but I'm just using with what I have, so it would have been nice to have had it a little bit wider. So now I'm going to turn it over to the other side and kind of do the same thing. And we'll just cut off this. Just try not to be too careful so it's not too even, and I should have done that on this side too. So we'll just chomp a little bit of the material down there. And I really don't want the rest of this paper really to show too much, so I'm just going to rip it. I'm going to go ahead and ink what little paper is showing now. And again, you can still use it as a paper clip. So then I can go ahead and glue down the rest of this. I'll use the Fabri-Tac, I think. Being careful not to... Yeah, I can't believe that cracked. I think this is like the second or third time I've had that happen on the Fabri-Tac. I'm not quite sure why it does that. So put that down. And then I don't want this top part on this applique showing. So I'm just going to cut that off, and maybe we'll find somewhere else to put it in the journal. We'll just hang that on this side. So now I'm thinking, because again, this is going to slide on to the journal page, and let's just turn it over on the other side, because we'll see this on the other side and come up with a plan on the other side. Maybe I can use this flower that I cut off on the other part up here. So again, that's what it looks like when it's finished. And let's see if Tim Holtz here has a little piece that we could just glue on here to keep it, you know, fairly flat. Again, these were some things I picked up at Hobby Lobby a while ago when they were clearanced. That one's okay. I like the... Oh, let's do this one that says item number. Again, I'm trying to use, you know, a lot of things that are that black and cream color, so that works. I like that one. That works. And let's see if there's anything else that's sitting on my desk that we can layer underneath it, or if yeah, I do like the music paper, so this one's just too much of a rip, but I have more sitting here, so let's find a different piece. Just as a little, another little extra added item on there. Yeah, I like that. So we'll run with that. Again, I'm just going to ink the edges a little bit on these. That's looking cute. And then we'll just, because yeah, it slides on this way, so this won't hurt it to be glued on up here. So we'll add a little glue and we'll call this paper clip done. Again, you won't see this bottom part because it's on the other side of the paper clip. So that's what it looks like. I'm just going to unplug my hot glue gun real quick. Kind of in my way, so I just want to move it further down my desk. So that's what that side looks like, and that's what that side looks like. That's really cute. Now I almost think I should add some sort of sentiment to this one too. I guess I can always come back to that once we add ephemera if I want. So again, we were going to put it on one of my pages here in the journal. We'll just do it on this one. And again, we'll be able to use that to tuck something in there later on. So that's super cute. I like that. And let's see, I might just have to stop it and restart it, just because I think I only have a couple more minutes before it automatically shuts off. But we can maybe do one more thing in the journal for today, since I want to I have that one piece now and I can't find it that I was going to glue in my journal. That's bad. Well, I will find it. All right. So yeah, we did that little piece there. Like I said, it's oh, here it is. I moved it way over on my desk. That's why. So yeah, I'll sew this down. And I'll just sew it into there too, I think. So I have that. We accomplished that today, or this video recording session. And there was something else really easy that I wanted to do before I do this other. Oh yeah. Okay, we'll do this real quick. So yesterday, or the last time, we worked on gluing these down, and I wanted to add just a little more interest to them. And so I'm just looking for something that I can stick under here. I was going to stamp, I have this little Stampin' Up stamp. And I was going to stamp just this little bit of, I think it's like a little texture stamp or a snow stamp, just a whole bunch of dots. I think there's a lot of companies out there that have stamps similar to this, and I just wanted to add just a little more interest to the page. I'll hold it up when I'm done so you guys can see it a little bit better. Well, now I don't like that I put it there, but maybe I'll just add to it and it'll look like it's part of it. That's a little bit better. Alright, so I'll just hold it up close so you guys can just kind of see. It just adds a little texture, and I maybe should have stamped it in brown instead of the black. But no big deal. for that one. And then I grabbed, on this back side of this page right here, I grabbed a script stamp that I was going to stamp also. And once you've already have like your pages assembled, sometimes I find that it's easy if you're going to stamp that you stick, like here's just a couple pieces of chipboard that I'm sticking behind there. It just gives it a little bit more stability to add a cleaner image. So this one I'm just going to stamp the one time on the bottom just for a little more interest. And it still wasn't perfect because I didn't push too hard, and that's fine. I like that. That works. I wasn't going for a super crisp image that time. So let's assemble this back together so I don't lose my order of pages. And so we were going to do a little tuck spot in here, and then I think I will be done recording for today. So in my stash, I picked out this image, and it's from Ruby and Pearl, Etsy. And I was thinking it's like a part of her Paris postcard set, I think. If I remember, I will link her shop, her Etsy shop below in the description box. And probably what I'll do for this whole series is I'll just, anything I think I've mentioned, I'll just put in the description box, like where I buy some of my laces and some of my favorite digital companies if you're interested in checking them out. But I really like this little postcard, and I was thinking of kind of tearing it out, edging it out a little bit, roughing the edges, and doing the same thing on the black cardstock, and then just gluing it down as a tuck spot. And, you know, I'll add some laces and stuff to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distress it. I'll probably distress it again with Distress ink. But I'll just start with this. And then we'll distress it with a distress tool thing that I have. So I have this one from Close to My Heart. I know Tim Holtz has one that I do have. And it's just a little blade that you run over the edges to distress it. You can also use your fingernail. And in a second here, I'll show you how you can use your scissors if you don't have a tool like this. But you can kind of see, I'm just roughing the edges to make it look like maybe it's a little older than it actually is. And you can just slide it like this, and it gives you that look. Or if you are a little more aggressive and move it, you can kind of add a little tear to it. So I'll do these two sides this way, and then I'll do the other two sides with the scissors, just to show you how you can do it with the scissors too, if you're interested. So like there, I kind of tore it. And so I have my Tim Holtz scissors. Any scissors works. And you just do the same thing. You just rub it. And then where you're a little more aggressive, it rips it. If you want that kind of distressed vintage look, that's one way you can do it. I've seen a few ladies on their channels where they actually just use their fingernails. And of course, I don't have very good fingernails. I'm too active outside to have nice, pretty fingernails. It wouldn't be worth it, especially with my job in the summers. I mean, I'm crawling under fences and pulling, you know, vegetation to look at it, and it just wouldn't make sense. But I think they just take their fingernails and go like that. And then what I do after I've distressed it a little bit is I will kind of go back in and hit a few of those spots again with the ink. You know, this is kind of a fun technique too. Even if you're working on like shabby chic stuff, you can do this, but instead of using the vintage photo color, you use like a nice pastel pink if you're working on like a pastel thing, or even a very light gray too, and you're going to get a whole different look. So just by changing up your ink color. So I'm just going to roughly guess here. And this is just some scrapbooking paper that I have in my stash. I organize my paper scraps sometimes by digital companies, but then I also do all my like cardstock. I do it based on color, so I just grabbed one out of my black stash because I just thought that would kind of set this apart. And it seems like I'm using a lot of black in this journal, so I just kind of running with that right now, the blacks and the creams and the whites. So we'll just kind of edge this one out. This one looks like I'm definitely going to have to distress the edges because it's a little too white for me. Hopefully I didn't distress it too much or tear it down too much, which I kind of did. So, that's unfortunate that I did that. I think it'll still work though. I just wanted a little highlight of the black showing, and maybe we can just tear into this a little bit to make that work. Yeah, let's just do that. We'll just tear this, then it'll fit better. Yep. There's always a plan B. So now that I've ripped it like that, I think I almost need to rip it like that on this side too. Make it a little more not so even after we did all that work, but that'll work. Kind of cute. And then I will glue it down on the two sides to make a tuck spot. So let's re-ink all of our edges again. Yeah, I probably would have left it the way I started with if I would have tore this paper better, but I really don't want to go find another piece of black cardstock and start over. So we'll just, like I said, I'll just make it work sometimes. That's what you do. And then this, I definitely need to edge this out. Didn't realize that this cardstock didn't have black on the inside, that it was white. Which sometimes that's kind of a cool look too, but we don't want it quite that white. So yeah, I think I definitely want to add some sort of sewing on this. And what I think I'm going to do is, because originally I was just going to, go around it nicely with a zigzag stitch, but I think I'm just going to go around it in a circle, a couple of messy circles on the sewing machine. And then we'll glue it in, and then I'll figure out a couple of, like, something to put on it at the bottom for some interest, some lace or some trim. So I think I'm going to call that good now for this session of recording. So I will go off camera, and next time when we come back, I'll show you how this turned out with just the sewing, and then we'll go ahead and attach it and find some lace, and then I'll also sew this in. And so when I start the next session, I will show you guys that. But we did accomplish a little bit with making the paper clip and this cluster and adding a little more interest to that page and also this page. So I'm getting anxious for this to get to the point where I can start adding some more ephemera pieces and being able to do a final flip through. But like everything, it takes time. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the little series, and I will see you back for the next episode. So until then, have a wonderful day and happy crafting.